Hey, welcome back to me being cheap. So Michael and I were out here planting some pumpkins in the flower bed. I don't know how many of you have known people that have replaced their landscaping with vegetables, but I have struggled with the landscaping on this house for years, and I can't seem to get anything to grow. I think maybe 1 or 2 years ago I did video on some dollar landscaping, and basically with some zinnia seeds and so forth. That's really, as far as flowers, I've gotten a few bulbs to grow over the years, but that's really about it. It is something I have struggled with. So we are making use of all of this space, and this weekend we're gonna do some more down here, and we're going to plant some beans and other vegetables. But the reason why I'm out here is we were out here planting some pumpkins, and I'm going to go ahead and turn this around and show you. So we do have some pumpkins planted over here, and I started these from seeds, and here's some tomatoes we started a couple weeks ago. Actually, we grew them inside but planted them outside, seeing how they do. But so we have some growing over here. I've actually got a rose bush and something else growing over here. It looks nice. And we do have some little tiny pumpkins over here. You can't see them, and then these are the zinnias that tend to come up. But Michael was out here and he's like, oh my goodness, this hole was not here when I mowed last. And the kids actually mowed over here last time, and they're like, no, it wasn't over here either. So this hole is actually pretty big. It goes down in their way. I don't know if it's picking it up on the camera. I'm going to back that out. And throughout the years we've had armadillos, possums, skunks, but they've never really dug holes that big. Like, come over here, and there's this big old pile of dirt. See, that goes back there quite a ways. I don't know, maybe you can't see. Seems to me front door and a back door. Anyhow, I'm not very good at editing clips together and editing pictures into the middle of a video, so I'm going to pull up something on my phone. I'm going to come over here into the shade so that you can see it on my phone. So I do live in town. See, I live in a neighborhood. Now it just so happens to be my house is old, and it sits on 3 city lots. So I do have a bigger yard. I do have trees. That bush that hole is under is a spirea bush, and I'm pretty sure it's probably over 100 years old. Okay, so I'm gonna cover up my neighbor's name here. This was on May 27th, and I'm not sure if this is showing up or not. But she scared what she thought was a groundhog and out from under her car, and it ran. Oops. Well, I'm just not having much luck today. It ran over to my house, and she said that the chief of police had seen it a couple days earlier. It ran over to my yard, and then the other neighbors, I'm going to go ahead and walk over here. The other neighbors had seen it too over this way. I'm going to go ahead and walk over here. And the reason why I'm showing you this is I'm trying to decide if my corn was torn up by Poxawatomie Phil or if it was the wind. Now, we had some pretty significant wind yesterday, and so I'm guessing it was probably the wind that did it. But Given that we've had that groundhog sighting over here, let's stop for a second and zoom in. That tree is actually in the neighbor's yard. People have seen it around that tree too. I don't know if that groundhog, or whatever that rodent is, laid all my corn down. So I'm pretty sick about this, although there's not a lot that can be done at this point. The damage is already done. I'm not sure if it's the wind or if it was Poxawatomie Phil, or whatever the name of that groundhog is. But this was my peaches and cream corn, and as you can see, it's already got corn on there that was in the process of growing. See if I can zoom in and point it out. See, we've got the tassels on here and then over here. So Michael is going to stop by, pick up some more T-posts on his way home from work, and we're going to try and see if we can stand some of this up and hopefully salvage some of it. And again, I'm pretty sad about this. This peaches and cream, it was already tasseled and it was starting to put on ears. This stuff in the middle was the glass gem, and I was looking forward to harvesting it because it was a kind of an interesting variety. And then down here we have the red butcher or bloody butcher corn, and it just didn't do much at all anyhow. So we're going to try and salvage this, and then Michael's been watching some videos on making some traps, and so we're going to try and trap that rodent. I tell you, you know, if they would just leave stuff alone, I think it would be okay. But turn this around. But even if it's not the rodent or groundhog or whatever, even if that's not what's messing with the corn, that rodent has made a pretty big burrow, and if that collapses, it's going to take that bush with it. So hopefully we can see if we can get that rodent trapped and maybe relocated. I don't know how that got up there. You know, at first when she sent that picture, I was thinking it was a nutria rat, which I'm up here in Kansas, and I didn't think the nutria rats had gotten this far, and they usually are around the water, but we have had a lot of flooding, and I think a lot of the wildlife has been displaced. But anyway, probably looking to rehome a rodent, a very large rodent. And if any of you know anything about groundhogs, if you can tell me, does that look like a groundhog burrow? Because I've never dealt with them before. I didn't even realize Kansas had those. But tell me what you think it is, and I'll have to let you know if standing that corn up, and we're going to use some baling twine and T-post, and we're going to try and stand it up, and I'll just have to let you know if that works. I'm really hoping we can salvage it. Otherwise, I'm going to be pretty sad that corn has gone away. And then over here, I just want to show you again, it's my sad landscaping. Go ahead, turn this around. So I had these hydrangea bushes on the front of my house, and they never did anything, and I moved them over here, and they're still not doing anything. And I had planted a bunch of herbs out here, and nothing is growing. This is a peppermint plant that I bought from the store, and that's probably the only reason why it's growing. And then I think I have a little bit of parsley or cilantro, but that's basically it. My garlic down here is pretty sad. I really think we planted this too late. We're in the middle of July, and that's all it's done. That's it. So I started a whole lot of beans inside, and we're going to throw in another crop of beans. And this flower bed is going to probably have 2 double rows of beans. So because I stink at landscaping, I'm going to hone my skills and maybe get a little bit better at vegetable gardening. I'm pretty sure people in town are probably going to start thinking I'm really weird. Anyway, that's what's going on. Laid down corn and a groundhog. All right, talk to you later.